As y'all can tell from the title of the video, y'all know what I'm about to do. As I seen from the previous video that I made on this topic, it is doing very well. New riders, we must avoid these mistakes or it's gonna cost us big time, so we can learn and expand our knowledge more. So we're gonna be doing the top 5 mistakes that every beginner makes and how to avoid them, part 2. Number 1, forgetting to turn off your turn signal. I have a habit of leaving my turn signal on for miles and miles, man. So it's easy to forget, because if you coming from a car, you are so used to pushing in, and soon you make your turn, it cancels out by itself. But unfortunately, with motorcycles, that do not happen. You have to most motorcycles that I have ridden and that I'm used to, you have to cancel it out yourself. You got to hit that turn signal. When you hit that turn signal, once you finish your turn, make sure you tap it. Look, I can show y'all a live example right here. Boom. So I hit my turn signal, say I complete my turn. The way to cancel your turn signal, you just tap it. Boom. Now my turn signal off. Look, boom, you see my turn signal on? And then look, cancel it, boom, by tapping it. So we have to create that habit of making sure we cancel our turn signal, as we can confuse the drivers behind us. You know what I'm saying? We already have to ride like we're invisible. People act like they can't see us, so we have to make sure we do what's necessary so people be able to tell what's our next movement's gonna be. Make sure you use your turn signals when you switch lanes. You know, I ain't gonna say I use it every single time, but I do my best to use it. So we need to make sure we use it so we can eliminate a lot of dangerous factors that's against us. So the way to fix it, like I said, boom, you turn your turn signal on, just make sure you tap it. Make sure you create that as a habit of make sure you tap it every single time. That's the best possible solution for that. We got to make it into muscle memory. I know it could be difficult, but we have to do that so we can help prevent potential accidents as well. Number 2, I wanted to get moving for this one because it's important. I don't know about y'all, I could be a visual learner, you know what I'm saying? And I also could be a hands-on learner. So make sure y'all go out and practice this. So number 2, not covering your front brake in traffic. You know what I'm saying? Say, for example, we in stop and go traffic right now and we not covering our front brake. Look, covering it just like that. Yeah, you don't have to necessarily press it, but you want to make sure you at least cover it. The reason being, because if you're not covering it, your reaction time will be a lot slower. So for example, you want to make sure you at least have 2 fingers covering that front brake. So say if somebody wants to cut you off in stop and go traffic, you can immediately have a reaction time. You don't want to delay your reaction time, which can prevent you from having an accident. So look, I'm covering. Say if somebody was cutting me off, I'll be able to. Your right foot should always be covering your brake anyways. Like for example, I'm stopped right now, it should always be covering the brake. So anytime, remember, the front brake is 70% of your stopping power, and the rear is like about 30%. So like say if you in stop and go traffic, you want to make sure you cover that front brake, because I'm gonna show y'all an example of what it typically look like when somebody is. So look, I'm just riding normal. I'm riding normal, and look, is my finger covering that front brake? What if somebody cut me off right now? Imagine somebody cut me off. So how do you think that will affect my reaction time? Look, so say boom, cut off. It'll take a minute for me to get that, but if I'm already covering it with my 2 fingers, somebody cut me off, I could just grab. You know what I'm saying? That it saves you seconds of time of not having your front brake covered. You know what I'm saying? And the way you fix not covering your front brake, by just getting the habit of when you in stop and go traffic, make sure you're covering that brake. See, I'm covering it right now. I'm covering it now. I'm slowing down. It's very important. You don't want to delay your reaction time, especially when it could be the difference between preventing the accident and not preventing the accident. See? Y'all see how that truck just came out like that? You always have to be prepared for any little thing. That's a perfect example. Like in that immediate situation, like I didn't know if he was gonna stop, so the best solution was to swerve. You know what I'm saying? Swerve and hit the throttle. Look, Like as he came out, if you notice, if you rewind it, see, this not even a part of the tip. Always pay attention to what's going on. Always. Because especially you can get fatigued after riding for so long, and you can get distracted, which will affect your ability to react. So make sure you incorporate brakes within your riding sessions. You know what I'm saying? I know riding can be extremely fun, but you want to make sure you incorporate brakes, as that's just as important as any other tip that I'm about to lay down. Because as you seen, that semi was just coming out, he didn't stop at the proper line, so I didn't know if he was gonna stop or he was still come out or what. But like the immediate thing I did in that situation, I swerved, hit the throttle so you get out this situation. Alright, this next one I'm about to go through is just as important as all the tips that I give, as I always explain to you guys. Alright, so poor lane positioning. So you may ask, what do you mean by that, poor lane positioning? So you see this lane that I'm currently in right now. So boom. Right now I'm in, like, so this is one lane, but this is the number one position in the lane. Boom, number two. That's number two position. Typically you see cars riding through the number two because they have to stay in the middle of the lane. Since we're a lot smaller, they don't have the ability to have different lane positions, you know what I'm saying? Then number three. You know what I'm saying? So look, boom, 1, 2, the left side is 1, the middle is 2, the right side is 3. So poor lane positioning. Like typically, like I have noticed some riders, they'll ride directly in the middle. Yeah, you may think it's safer because say if it's cars on the both sides of you, right? It's not as safe as you may think it is, because oil and debris build up in the middle, especially when it's wet. And it can cause you to lose traction. Because when that stuff comes up, things can get very slippery very quickly. But so right now I'm in the left side position. I'm in the number one position of the lane. The reason why I'm in this position, because you see it's an intersection coming up. Well, it's not an intersection, but it kind of looked like an intersection. So say if that was an intersection, there was a car coming out. Position yourself in the number one lane. The number one, so you can potentially avoid a potential hazard that may be coming your way. You know what I'm saying? So typically when I ride, it all depends on the pit position that I need to be in. There's no correct position to be in, but it's correct position to be in due to certain circumstances. Like when I come up to light, I'll stay where I'm at. I'm in a one position. Make sure people behind you stop. All right, so now that I'm stopped, I can really explain. Poor lane position, you want to position yourself in the number one or number two. You never want to really ride in the middle due to the oil and debris buildup. So you want to position yourself to the left or the right. I mean to the left or the right, which is number one or the three. I try to, depending on the circumstances, I try to stay away from two. And then you may ask, how can I fix this? So the way I fix it, like say if I'm riding, it's pretty clear, so I'll stay in the number one or whatever. But say if I'm coming up on an intersection or something that's like hidden by trucks, I'll position myself in the number one, or I'll potentially switch lanes to make my visibility more better. You know, it also depends on the traffic flow. You want to position yourself for safety depending on the traffic flow that you may be facing at that current moment. So that's what I mean by position yourself for safety. You want to position yourself with more visibility for any cars that could be hidden in blind spots, or you coming around a blind corner, or you behind a truck, anything. And you also want to make sure you keep a space cushion as well. You don't want to be too close, because that limits your visibility to other cars that may be turning left at an intersection or about to make a right. So always maintain the space cushion and maintain that visibility for safety. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. That's how you fix that issue. Using the wrong foot at stops. So typically people would be like this. They have their left foot above their gear shifter. Above their gear shifter, would kind of creates a unbalanced or unstable stop. The correct way that you should be doing it, like people do however they want, but the way I learned was that you want to put your left foot down at a stop, then have your right foot on the brake. Right foot on the rear brake. You may ask, why do you need your right foot on the rear brake? Say if somebody coming up behind you, or you see somebody coming, this is what I typically do. When my left foot is down, my right foot on the rear brake. Like if I see somebody coming, I start tapping my brakes to make myself more visible. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that could be an important safety factor. You know what I'm saying? It's like I always do things to make me more visible and make me put myself in a more safer position. Because if I'm tapping that rear brake at somebody coming up, they are more likely to see me as my brake light will flash at them. So you already know you got to think that you're invisible at all times. Because say if somebody is behind you, assume that you're invisible. Act like people do not see you. Always make yourself more visible as much as you can. That is especially helpful at night, especially, but also you can utilize that tactic during the day as well. Where it comes in handy of you making this a habit is putting your right foot over that brake, especially on inclines. Like I recall when I first started, like, and I was on the incline, I forgot all the training that I had, and I was just holding the front brake. But what you gonna do when you try to go? You're gonna have to get in that friction zone, throttle it, so that means you let go of that front brake. But you're on the incline, so you got to think about it, you're gonna start rolling down. So you want to prevent yourself from being in that position. Make sure you get on that rear brake. Make it a habit, muscle memory. You don't want to go rolling 20 cars down that hill. That's very important. How many times I have stressed the importance of practicing slow speed maneuvers. The reason why it's important, many beginners, they focus on going fast. They lose awareness. People think motorcycles are all about going fast. It's not. You want to practice that slow speed maneuvers because it can lead to drops in parking lots or drops at stop signs. Say if you need to bust a U-turn right here. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna bust that U-turn if you ain't? It's possible, but you'll be more at a higher risk of dropping your bike if you haven't practiced that skill. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be embarrassed in front of people. You always want to practice that slow speed maneuver so you can prevent slow speed accidents. So practice them figure eights. Practice just riding and going around on your clutch. You know what I'm saying? Like, and getting that clutch in that friction zone. And you want to practice that. Them things are important. So that's how you can prevent slow speed accidents, is by just practicing and getting used to it. Motorcycles is not all about going fast. Even though, yes, it's fun, but it's not all about going fast. Hey, and when I say go fast, that means going fast at a racetrack. You know, legally speaking, you can't go fast on the street. You only can go the speed limit. But I ain't your mama, I ain't your daddy, I ain't your grandma, I ain't your pops. You know what I'm saying? But you do as you do, but make sure you're doing it in a safe manner and where you're not endangering yourself or others. That's gonna be always recommended by me. You know what I'm saying? Safety is the main priority. Practice that slow speed. I tell you that every time. That's number 5. Just to ride smooth, not fast, because awareness and control will keep you safer than speed ever will. That's very important. And make sure y'all drop down below what's the biggest mistake you ever made while riding. You know what I'm saying? Like, so we can learn from each other and tell me how did you overcome that as well. You know what I'm saying? It's very important that we learn from each other and we really expand our knowledge as we on two wheels. It's important that we get home safely. I want you to get home safe. You should want to get home safe as well. 99% of y'all not subscribed, so just go ahead and hit that button down below, man. Make sure we show love, and make sure you comment down below. I'll try to comment down to everybody that I can. You know what I'm saying? Let's learn together, let's evolve together. Stay up and stay blessed.